Yo, what if I told you one single flood in 1931 straight up erased 4 million people? More bodies than both world wars combined in some counts. Cities turned into floating graveyards, families eating tree bark, and worse. It's the summer of 1931, and China is already a hot mess. Civil war ripping the country apart. Nationalists fighting warlords and communists. Nobody got time for proper dikes or warnings. The Yangtze River, this massive beast snaking through the heart of the empire, has been chilling after years of brutal drought. But then, boom, Mother Nature flips the switch. For months, the sky just wouldn't stop. Heavy rains, cyclones slamming in one after another. 9 in July alone, when they usually get 2. Snowmelt from the mountains mixed with non-stop downpours, turning the Yangtze, the Huai, and even the Yellow River into raging monsters. First warning signs hit in June. Low-lying villages start flooding. Farmers watching their rice paddies disappear under brown sludge. But nobody evacuates fast enough. Why would they? The capital, Nanjing, is supposed to be safe. Wuhan, this massive city of almost 1 million, thinks their dikes are solid. Fast forward to late July. July 27th, around 6 a.m. in Wuhan. A dike bursts with zero warning. Eyewitness Jin Shilong, an engineer on duty, later described it like this. There was no warning, only a sudden great wall of water. Most buildings were 1 story high. People died by the tens of thousands. Imagine that sound, a roar like freight trains crashing. Walls of muddy water, 10, 20 feet high, smashing through town. People inside their homes? Gone. Wuhan turns into an island overnight. 83 square kilometers underwater for 3 straight months. 30,000 refugees crammed on a single railway embankment, standing shoulder to shoulder, watching their city drown. The water? It was higher than the famous Shanghai Bund by almost 6 feet. Entire neighborhoods became floating graveyards. Corpses everywhere, human, animal, everything, rotting in the heat, spreading disease like wildfire. By August 25th, it gets even nastier. Lake Gaoyou Dike collapses. Water explodes through the Grand Canal. 18,000 people in that county alone drown in one night. 18,000 in hours. Survivors climb onto rooftops, clutching whatever they can. A wooden beam. They stay up there for days, weeks sometimes, watching the water rise higher. No food, no clean water, just endless rain pounding down. And here's where it turns straight up nightmare fuel. The flood didn't just kill with water, it starved and sickened an empire. Crops? Totally wiped. 25 million people affected. Some historians say up to 53 million. 40 million homeless. That's more than the entire population of California and Texas combined back then. Food ran out fast. Survivors ate tree bark, weeds, dirt mixed with water just to fill their stomachs. Darker reports trickled out from the villages. Cannibalism. Desperate families doing the unthinkable to survive. Government papers and eyewitnesses confirmed it in Hubei and Anhui provinces. One old woman. Well, the details are too brutal even for me to say on camera. This was a nation pushed to the edge, man. An entire empire drowning in mud and madness. Now, put yourself in their shoes. You're a farmer in Hubei. Your house is gone. Rescue boats? Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't. One survivor later said people just sat on the dikes, staring into the distance, refusing help. They were convinced the gods were angry, especially after the government tore down a Dragon King temple right before the flood. Superstition mixed with terror. The government? Total chaos. Chiang Kai-shek's nationalist regime was broke and busy fighting wars. They set up a national flood relief commission, brought in experts, even got the freaking Lindberghs to fly over in their plane for an aerial survey. International aid poured in. League of Nations, overseas Chinese sending cash, America shipping wheat on massive loans. Pearl Buck wrote heartbreaking stories that tugged at American heartstrings and raised millions. But it was too little, too late for most. By the time winter hit, another cholera wave in 1932 killed tens of thousands more. Total body count? Official Chinese numbers say around 400,000. Western estimates? Up to 3.7 or even 4 million when you count the starvation and disease over the next few years. 4 million souls gone. And the empire? This flood didn't just drown people, it drowned hope. It exposed how weak the government really was. Flood relief became a political nightmare. Communists used it as propaganda. See, the nationalists can't protect you. It sped up the chaos that led to full-blown war with Japan just a few years later. The Yangtze would flood again, 1954, 1998, but nothing like this. Eventually, China built the Three Gorges Dam, partly because of 1931's scars. That massive wall of concrete now holds back the monster. Look, America, we've had our floods. Katrina, the Midwest deluges. But this was on another level. An entire civilization underwater for months. An empire brought to its knees by rain and rotten infrastructure. 4 million lives swept away like they never existed. So next time you see storm clouds rolling in, remember 1931 China. Nature doesn't care about borders, politics, or prayers. It just takes. And when it does, it takes everything. If this story hit you like it hit me, smash that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment. What other forgotten disasters should we cover next? Share this with someone who thinks history is boring, because out there in the mud of 1931, 4 million ghosts are still waiting to be remembered.